Lifers Podcast. Get with it or get forgotten.
Being that we're in the physical therapy profession, or going to be, knock on wood, we pass our boards and everything is good and after rotations. Is how can you see a way that PT or physical therapy can be a little bit more involved with the CrossFit, sport, or I'm sorry, general wellness?
General wellness, man, that's pretty good, because I think physical therapy definitely has a place, and understanding how to move correctly is one of the things that we know like the back of our hands. At least we should, right? And the thing is you should be able to go into a gym, and it doesn't even have to be a CrossFit gym, but you can watch anyone doing movements nowadays, like deadlift. You can go into a Globo gym and watch people deadlift, squat, bench, whatever it may be. And you can probably find things that you say, oh, I would not continue to do something like that. That is not good in the long term. But I really feel that, it becomes in that realm of, how do you want to treat it? Is it treating it more of like exercise performance and optimization, or is it more of injury prevention and general wellness? There's kind of like a balance between that, because you're going to have those higher level athletes that are going to be doing, like Wes, doing multiple workouts a day. They're under a lot of volume, underneath a lot of stress. Treating him, if I was let's just say I was a physical therapist at a CrossFit gym, as kind of like a co-owned thing, if that's a thing, however that may work. It works. You're going to treat that individual a little different than you're going to treat the mom and dad that come in with a little bit of nagging shoulder pain after a little bit of shoulder press, for example. But again, anyone of all levels can benefit from the idea of, let's go back to the basics, right? Just like Chaz said about basic movements. Well, basic foundations of PT, let's strengthen up the rotator cuff muscles, because we don't necessarily do a lot of rotational movements in CrossFit. That's something that I feel like a lot of people undermine, because having healthy shoulders and warming them up properly before we go to press something over our head is very important, to understand that you're not putting yourself at risk for any injury. And again, it's all about that education, man. I feel like I can't stress that enough. I try to do that and preach and practice, all of that stuff when I was in the gym coaching. I no longer coach anymore, because as we all know, school is getting close to the internships, but my year that I spent there, man, that's what the people loved. They loved the educational aspect of it. And if you really show people that you understand what you're talking about, and that, you practice what you're preaching, and that you're able to demonstrate good movement, and you can pick out people's errors here and there and figure out a way to kind of cue them to do something correctly, you're winning. You're going to win. And that's the thing that I feel like not a lot of coaches take the time to do, because they understand the global movement, but we're able to dive deeper into those individual joints, those individual little compensations that may happen. And that's why we get paid what we get paid. And that's why we have the knowledge that we have, because we're able to provide that information. It's just a matter of kind of tailoring it and making sure, does the individual even want that? It's, do you want to take that time to 10, 15 minutes if you need it to warm up your rotator cuff because your shoulder was nagging the other day? I mean, it's very individualized, but it definitely has a place at all levels within the CrossFit community.
I'd have to add to that with what Chris said, because one of the classes I went to and he was coaching, he actually brought out a spine with the disc and everything, and was like showing people like what happens when you deadlift with like a rounded back. And I was like looking around, like I knew it, but a lot of these people don't know what actually happens and why they tell you to keep your form right. And I see like light bulbs popping like people's head, like, oh, okay, it makes sense now. So just bringing that piece for like perspective to CrossFit's great.
I love it. It definitely. I mean, I can make that argument that you're going to reach more people during a CrossFit training session than you would going into a gym and seeing 10 out of 10 people doing a squat the wrong way. You have to individually tell them, and you don't even know what the rest of their workout is. So I do think that there's a way for maybe what is it, like once a week on a Saturday, PT goes and goes for an hour or 2 hours or whatever the case may be, gets paid for it, and to properly know how to go the way that to perform those movements. However it is, I don't necessarily think we have those answers.
It could be a side hustle.
Sounds like a business model you're coming up with here, buddy.
But you get what I'm saying, and I think that's the big one, is because there's already a business model for the regular gym, right? It's if you get injured, we're teaching you through our thing of how to get back to a regular gym, but we never teach anyone how to get back to a regular CrossFit, So I think there is something there, and it'll be figured out. I think Wes, you said there's a CrossFit / physical therapy place.